watching Press Box, presented by Roper Kia, Bob's Appliance Center, Missouri Southern State University, and Girard Medical Center.
Welcome into the season finale of Press Box here from the KOAM studio. I'm Sports Director Ryan Blank alongside Ben McLeish as always. And Ben, true state title contenders, they're emerging in the four states area. District semifinals taking place in Missouri, but it's regional play in Kansas.
Yeah, championship season has arrived. The title games next week in Missouri with teams like Carthage, Webb City, Seneca, and Lamar look to punch their ticket to the big stage. And in Kansas, teams like Colgan, Frontenac, and Labette County eye sectional appearances.
You mentioned Carthage, so let's talk about the top seed in the Class 5 District 6 bracket. They're hosting Neosho in our KOAM Game of the Week. The Tigers and Wildcats facing off for the second time in 3 weeks. Slow start offensively in this one. Zane Browning looking to make something happen, but he's brought down by Oliver Martin for a sack, and that stunts the Tiger drive. Wildcats take over offensively. They haven't been able to move the ball much either. Dane Arthur going deep looking for a man. He's got one, but it's picked off by Carthage's Noah Norbury. The defense is making plays early on. Tigers take over, and they're going to get it rolling a little bit. Browning, he's going to pitch it to his running back, Landon West, who jukes a defender and takes it into the end zone for the game's first points. Next possession for Carthage. Browning this time, he's going to dump it to Malachi Douglas. He'll hug the sideline a little bit, take it deep into Wildcat territory, and that would set up a score that would make it 14-0. That score wouldn't stay the same for long, though. It's going to be West again. What they did earlier, it's going to be another pitch and another touchdown for the junior running back as he continues to have his strong season. Carthage cruises to a 42-7 victory over Neosho.
It's a week one rematch with the Joplin Eagles hosting Kickapoo. Eagles driving down the field early in this one. Daniel Rhodes connects with Lane Royal on the run. Royal fights his way into the red zone. Later in the drive, direct snap to Trenton McCadney, who cuts towards the sideline and finds his way in for pay dirt. Chiefs looking to respond, end around to Ashman Fowler, and he cuts up field for a big gain. Later in the drive, Kickapoo going through the air. Will Buckley hauls in the pass for a first down. Chiefs dumping it off to Javon Mack on the screen. What a hit from Alexander Flynn on the next play, and the student section loves it. Eagles back in the red zone. Rose taking it himself this time and waltzes in to extend the lead to 14 as the Eagles advance with a 28-6 win over the Chiefs.
Webb City eyeing a second straight district title on the road against Republic. Immediate 3-and-out for Webb on offense, so the Tigers take over. It's going to be Preston McCracken. Hard to stop him. He sheds a couple of tackles and punches it in. Republic leads early, 7-0. Cardinals get the field goal the next drive, but Republic goes back to work. Preston keeps it again for his second score of the night. 5 total for him, and just like that, Republic leads 14-3. But here we go, Mason Williams, he's going to punch it in on a short distance for the score, but that would cut the deficit, not for long. Matthew Pelfrey takes it up the gut. He's in for another Tiger score. 9 seconds left in the half. Check this out. Webb City with the double reversal. Trey Turner takes it himself, and the Cardinals cut the deficit to 4 at halftime, but that wouldn't be enough. Webb City can't keep up with Republic's rushing attack. Tigers defeat the Cardinals 41-24.
Carl Junction also on the road, eyeing revenge against Logan Rogersville. Bulldogs on their opening drive. A high snap forces Mason Gilbert to abandon the handoff and take it himself. And the happy accident works as Carl Junction strikes first, 7-0. Now the Cats' turn. Sam Freeze runs the option play, tosses it to his partner in crime, Cash Clark, who finds some open space and trucks a defender. Big run plus a face mask penalty makes it 1st and goal. On the next play, he decides to air it out. Nate Knowles is in the corner of the end zone and barely stays in for the game-tying touchdown. Bulldogs in the red zone again. This time the handoff does get to Lopez Derman. He gets tackled at the goal line, and the refs call him in for the touchdown. Carl Junction comes out on top in this one, 41-27, the final.
The Nevada Tigers back at home hosting Pleasant Hill for the second time this year. Starting off in the first quarter with Pleasant Hill. Sawyer Rich Creek throws a pass to Jace Fiesel, who makes the diving catch for the first down. Second quarter, tied up at 7. Nevada's Will Jackson, he's going to find the edge and outruns the Roosters defense for the first down carry. Let's go to the next drive. It's Kellen Braden on the carry this time. He's going to shed some defenders like it's nothing, taking it down to the 10-yard line. Rich Creek with the ball again, and this pass is going to be intercepted. Nevada's Kendrick Atkins comes up and makes the big play. Let's go to the next possession for the Tigers. It's John Michael Collins shedding tackles, breaking ankles, and taking it all the way to the goal line. Now let's head to the third quarter kickoff. Start of the second half. Mason Majors, he's going to receive the ball, and he cannot be brought down. Turn it on those afterburners, and he will go all the way to Pleasant Hill's 47-yard line. Nevada comes out on top, heading to the district championship, 28-14 the final.
Top-seeded Seneca coming off a bye, taking on East Newton at home. Seneca in the red zone. Roman Miller punches it in to get the Indians on the board, up 7-0. His night would be far from over. There he goes again, breaking a couple tackles to double the lead to 14-zip, but East Newton not be silenced much longer. Caden Youngblood slings it to Aiden Wolf, who refuses to go down, taking it all the way to the house, 14-7 Seneca. Indians back on offense. Here's Miller putting on the Jets and going all the way for his third touchdown of the night. Now here he is again. Indians back to nearly midfield, and this is now a track meet for the running back. Miller gets his fourth touchdown on this carry. Now the Indians decide to air it out, and it's Brody Covert going deep and connecting with Blaze Graham for the score. Seneca holds on to take down the Patriots 56-21.
Lamar opening their quest for a third straight state title, battling Butler. Lamar's going to get the ball first. Second play of the game, it's a handoff to junior Taryn Williams, who hits the hole, and he's off to the races for an opening drive touchdown for the Tigers. They're up early, 7-0. After a 3-and-out by Butler, Lamar's going to stay with the running game. This time, Jaden Moore, and he takes it from 25 yards out to extend the lead to 14-0. Still in the first quarter, Lamar's senior this time, Brody Gardner, knocks a pass down the line of scrimmage to end the drive for the Bears. That's some complimentary football offense and defense getting the job done. Next possession for the Tigers. Passing game this time. Quarterback Clayton Powell drops back, and that's a dime to senior Trent Torbeck for a 34-yard touchdown. It's 21-0 in the first. Lamar now with their fourth drive on offense in the first quarter. Back to the ground game. Williams rips off a 50-yard run to the 1-yard line, and it's a big man touchdown coming up. Lineman Luis Salas finishes off the drive with a 1-yard TD run to make it 4 drives and 4 touchdowns. Lamar rolls to the district championship, 55-21. Full week of action in Missouri with top teams coming off of the bye weeks. These games certainly lived up to the expectations. Coming up on Press Box, a trio of regional playoff matchups in Kansas, including Lebec County, Frontenac, and Colgan.
But first, a look at some scores from around the region.
Welcome back to Press Box. 3 of the top state title contenders in Kansas in action tonight, including Frontenac and Colgan. But let's kick it off with 2 teams who are very familiar with each other. Lebec County and Chanute clashing in a Week 8 rematch. The Grizzlies defeated the Blue Comets to round out the regular season. Grizzlies with the ball to start. Aaron Wyrick is going to drop back, looking for Nolan Nash towards the sideline, but the pass is incomplete. However, pass interference, tack on 15 yards. The drive would end with a turnover on downs, though. Chanute now attempting a field goal, but it would be blocked by the Grizzlies defense. They're making plays in this one early on. Grizzlies back on offense. Wyrick would keep it himself this time, makes a nice run through the defense, and he's going to find Pater 60-plus yards on the run. 7-0 Grizzlies in the second half as a team breaks through. Wyrick is fired up. The senior quarterback doing it all as the Grizzlies look to head to sectionals. Fourth quarter now. Chanute's going to get down to the Grizzlies' 5-yard line. It's going to be Asher Love getting his number called, and that is going to be an easy Blue Comet score. This one is tied up at 7. Grizzlies again with the ball. They're near the goal line. Wyrick this time, he's going to hand it off to Deontay Fields, the man that stepped up this year, and he continues to make an impact. He'll punch this one in with ease on the play. They're going to go for the extra point here, the Grizzlies will, but it's not going to be a typical one. It's a fake. Kagan Bates takes it, and he will easily find the end zone. 15-7 Grizzlies. Chanute with 2 seconds left, trying for some last-second magic. A couple of halfback passes would eventually be brought down, and that is it. The Labette Grizzlies win this one in a nail-biter at home. 15-7 the final from Altamont.
The Frontenac Raiders coming off a big win over Bishop Ward, hosting Holton. Second half, Raiders trailing by 7. Third down and long, Brogan Smith launches it deep and connects with Brock Weimers for a first down in enemy territory. And that big play would set up this play here from Smith, who takes off on a designed quarterback run, racing up the middle, getting a key block as he scores Frontenac's first touchdown. But a missed extra point would make it 7-6 Holton. Wildcats looking to respond, goal-to-go situation, and the Raiders defense steps up, forcing a fumble, and Weimers recovers it. Another goal-to-go situation, fourth down for Holton, and once again the Frontenac defense steps up, getting the stop in a huge moment. Ensuing Raiders drive, Smith takes off again, has to room to the outside, getting the first down and more, but fumbles as the Wildcats recover. Frontenac falls at home to Holton, 14-6, the final from Raider Stadium.
Class 1A East top seed Colgan taking on Troy at Hutchfield after a shutout win last week. First quarter action, fourth down and short for the Trojans. They go for it. Will Schremer has other ideas though, breaking through the line for the sack to force a turnover on downs. And that would set up the Panthers in enemy territory. Carson Simmons with a give to Clayton Adamson, and the speed demon weaves through the defense and dives into the end zone for the opening score. Colgan leads 6-0. Troy forced a punt on the ensuing drive, and there is Adamson. Already had a return touchdown called back due to a penalty, but this time he spins out of a tackle, and he is off to the races for his second of 5 scores on the night. Panthers lead by 13. Trojans looking for some offense. Pressure breaks through once again for Colgan, forcing an error throw downfield. Brady Bedard tracks it down for the interception. But the senior wasn't done there. Schremer, he's going to drop back to throw on third and long, and Bedard is down there somewhere, airing it out, connecting with his senior receiver for another score. 20-0 Colgan in the first quarter. Panthers cruise to sectionals with a second straight shutout win, 56-0 over Troy. That's the playoff action here on Press Box, but we've got some more games to highlight. Final week of regular season football in Oklahoma. Wyandotte, Fairland, both hosting their senior night matchups. Sooner State football coming up on Press Box. But first, a look at some scores from across the region.
Welcome back to Press Box. While we are in the heart of playoff football for Kansas and Missouri, Oklahoma is rounding out the regular season this week. And a couple of teams looking for some momentum heading into the postseason are Wyandotte and Fairland. Starting in Wyandotte with the Bears battling Keys for senior night. Keys quarterback Ryder Davis drops back to pass on the Cougars' first possession, but Wyandotte's Wyatt Payne slings Ryder into the end zone, but Ryder was down at the 1-yard line. Bears quarterback Hunter White hands off to Kason Threet, and Threet breaks to the outside and gets to the sideline, dodges 2 key defenders before getting pushed as Threet dives for the end zone pylon. On the next play, White calls his own number on a designed QB run up the middle for a Wyandotte touchdown. In the ensuing kickoff, Keys' Trevion Guthrie receives the ball and takes off across the field, but Wyandotte's Hagen Langford strips him of the ball, and White recovers for the Bears midway in the first quarter. And White makes Keys pay with a short touchdown run as he dives between the legs of 3 defenders at the goal line to get the Wyandotte touchdown. Wyandotte takes this one 38-6 over Keys.
Nearby Fairland looking for a third straight win, hosting Woodland. Game tied at 6 with less than 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Fairland quarterback Carson Schertz scrambles around, throws downfield. Logan Sparks comes back to catch the ball near midfield. He cuts across the field on his way for an Owls touchdown as the lights go out. Fairland regains the lead. Woodland quarterback Peyton Snow drops back, throws long downfield, but Schertz, who also plays defensive back, intercepts the throw and returns it up the sideline before getting knocked out of bounds. Later in the drive, Schertz, he's going to find his man, Wynton Amos, the tight end, over the middle for a long gain and first down, setting up the Owls just before halftime. Let's go to the next play, though. Schertz, he's going to roll out to his left, once again making plays with his legs. Throws to a wide-open Keelan White at the goal line for another Owls touchdown. Lights go out again in celebration. Fairland leads 20-6. Owls cruise to a big win at home on senior night. 53-14 the final.
That rounds out the final action for this press box season, but we still have some more to cover. When we return, Ryan and I will recap all of the games that we covered on tonight's show. But first, look at some scores from around the region.
Welcome back to Press Box. 12 games up, 12 games down in our season finale. So let's recap everything from this week on the gridiron with takeaways and performance of the week. Ben, as always, kick us off with our weekly takeaways. What stood out to you?
Well, the playoff Lamar Tigers are here and ready to dominate. Tigers come off their bye week with a massive win over Butler at home. We talked about this team being their best when the postseason comes around, and Lamar continues to prove that. If you want to win the Class II title, you're going to have to go through the Tigers.
The Colgan Panthers continue their perfect season with another win at Hutch Field. Clayton Adamson was Clayton Adamson, of course, with 5 scores. But there's other weapons like Brady Bedard. He hauled in a touchdown and an interception tonight. The defense also has back-to-back shutouts.
What about Fairland's offense? It's humming. Carson Schertz with 2 long ball touchdown passes tonight. And the running game pairs with a strong air attack. They've won 3 in a row and are a threat come playoff time in Oklahoma.
Now it's time for Performance of the Week. Let us know who you think had the best performance of the night by heading to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Your first option is, yet again, Clayton Adamson. 5 more touchdowns in the win over Troy, including a punt return score. He's closing in on the Colgan touchdowns record, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him break it.
We've talked a lot about the Carthage offense, but tonight we got to talk about the Carthage defense, stifling a dangerous Neosho offense with only 7 points allowed and forcing turnovers. Carthage is heading back to the district championship, and this defense is a key piece to their success.
The Lamar offense showcasing how dangerous they are. 5 different guys finding the end zone early in their big win over Butler with a lot of different go-to guys. I don't know how you stop this Tigers team offensively.
Looking ahead to next week, we just talked about them, but the Lamar Tigers continue their quest for another state title as they face off against Holden in the district championship. That is definitely one game to keep an eye on with 2 explosive offenses.
The Labette County Grizzlies are back in the playoff sectionals after being Chanute for the 2nd time this year. They'll be back at home next week yet again against Ottawa for a spot in Sub-State. Grizzlies have taken care of business with both their offense and defense in games this year, like tonight defensively, and the dream season looks to march on forward.
And Oklahoma playoffs kick off with some of our top teams ready to make a run towards glory, including Fairland, Grove, and Wyandotte. It is the first week with all 3 states playing postseason football.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's look at the weekend. Pitt State coming off their 7th straight win on Saturday, defeating rival Missouri Southern at home on Senior Day. The race for the MIAA championship is a 2-man race between the Gorillas and Bearcats of Northwest Missouri State. Next week's matchup between the two will determine the conference champ if PSU can take care of business on the road against Central Missouri this week. This Mules offense brings a familiar challenge to the Gorillas, but one they haven't faced in over a month. UCM's up-tempo offense, it's similar to Emporia State's offensive style of play, and the defense will be key for Pitt State this week in Warrensburg. Kickoff at 1 p.m. from Walton Stadium Saturday.
Missouri Southern Lions are back on the road this week, heading to Edmond for a matchup against Central Oklahoma. A key for MSSU this week is to run the football. The last 2 weeks, the Lions' rushing attack has been stifled by opposing defenses. Head coach Atiba Bradley said that it's crucial for his team to establish the run. Nathan Glades and company in the backfield. Missouri Southern continues to prove that they can compete with any team in the MIAA, and as they search for a second conference win, Saturday gives them a crack against the reigning MIAA champions. Lions look to snap a 2-game skid against the Broncos. Kickoff at 1 p.m. from Chad Bridgeson Stadium.
The Kansas City Chiefs are coming off a tough loss in Buffalo against the Bills, and they're in the middle of a much-needed bye week. KC currently sits at 5-4 following their 0-2 start. They're third in the AFC West standings. Coming out of the bye week, it's a pivotal divisional matchup in Denver against the Broncos. Good news for the team is that starting left tackle Josh Simmons is back with the team after missing the last 4 games due to a personal matter. After only 9 games, the Chiefs have their backs against the wall, need to rattle off some wins if they not only want a 10th straight division title, but to secure their spot in the playoffs. That's a wrap on this Press Box season. It's been a crazy year with some terrific matchups and performances, and for us too, it's our first year covering high school football in the 4 states. It's been a lot of fun covering 10-plus games a week. Truly, the excitement here is unmatched. Ben, really quick, give me some thoughts on your first year covering football here.
Well, it's evident 4 states football is electric. I love covering exciting games every single week.
And we do have exciting games every week, and that will continue. I do want to shout out everyone that helped us out this season, going all over to cover games and help us create the product we have each week. Finally, thank you for tuning in each week. Don't worry, more football coverage coming up next week.